Minneapolis, 25th of May 2020. A 46-year-old black man, George Floyd, was killed by police officers whilst they arrested him for an alleged counterfeit bill. Footage of the murder surfaced online, showing Floyd had not resisted arrest and was begging for his life as Officer Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Other police officers watched on. The visceral murder reignited the global movement of Black Lives Matter, with flurries of testimonies by black individuals in the US, the UK, and all over the world, sharing their experiences of physical brutality at the hands of police, schoolmates, colleagues, and strangers. The BLM movement raises an important question. Where does this modern-day anti-blackness come from? What are the foundations that allow for such brutal violence against black individuals, even in this age? To start unpacking these questions, we must first define what a racist even is. It's a difficult word to accuse someone of being, unless they have vehemently exclaimed the N-word. American academic Robin DiAngelo summarises the mainstream definition as an individual who consciously does not like people based on their race and has clear intention to be unkind to them. DiAngelo explains that this paradigm of understanding needs to change. It isn't until we realise that racism is mostly committed by well-meaning individuals, groups and systems, both unconsciously and without malintent, that we can look internally and tackle our subconscious anti-blackness. So, without further ado, let's go over 20 ways we've all been anti-black. Number 1. Sounds like you've got a chip on your shoulder. Playing the race card again. Okay, let's break this one down a little. White voices are often seen as a third party, neutral, measured and unbiased. Therefore, they're often seen as having a more reliable opinion on race-related issues. Of course, we understand that all people have biases, because they're a man, because they grew up in a single-parent household, because they had pets growing up. If we accept every human being sees their own reality through the lens of their accumulated biases, why don't we just accept black individuals as being the experts of their own experiences? Instead, we have a rhetoric that discredits them because they have had experiences of anti-blackness. It's a never-ending cycle of dismissal. Number 2. Violence is never the answer. All we need is love. So how does this translate? A model, upstanding black person has always received fair dues when they ask the white majority sweetly. There should be no need for urgency when campaigning for the lives of black people. Change takes time, so let's not be too rash. If we are to take this sentiment as fact, it would suggest that the history of the transatlantic slave trade would have ended immediately if those slaves had simply asked kindly, as non-black groups of power are inherently kind and generous. Riots are a common and usual form of protest in British history. The suffragettes would burn down public and private property, chain themselves to buildings, smash windows, and even detonate bombs. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. famously advocated for non-violent tactics. Ironically, he was assassinated. Number 3. Why is black music and art so aggressive? Black music, art, and culture is as diverse as the people that create it. Jazz, hip-hop, blues, R&B, disco, Afrobeats. This blanket opinion suggests the speaker has pathologized all aspects of black culture intrinsically. Would they paint white art with the same brush when they listen to The Offspring or Metallica or Slipknot? Number 4. Feeling on edge when you find yourself in the company of black strangers in neutral settings. This gut reaction means that you have internalized the belief that blackness determines a potential criminal status. They do not belong, and they are other. It's this discomfort that leads to black British children being twice as likely to be temporarily excluded from lessons than their white counterparts. Why black people are 9.5 times more likely to be stopped and searched by police than white British people. Number 5. You don't sound black. You're so articulate. You're taken aback that the individual appears intelligent, as you believe that black people are generally less intelligent than non-black people. Varieties of BBE dialects are simply testament to unintelligence, in your opinion. Number 6. We don't need race quotas. Black or white, if you work hard in life, you'll succeed. This suggests that anti-blackness does not play a role in the success of individuals. If we take this statement of meritocracy as truth, any racial disparity in the workplace must be because black people are lazy or incompetent. Number 7. At least the UK isn't as bad as the US. Firstly, it is interesting to question the sentiment by asking, if that is true, so what? Should we wait until we see countless viral videos of black British people murdered in public? The transatlantic slave trade was spearheaded by the British. The UK transported 3.1 million slaves, with only 2.7 million surviving the voyage. When the Slavery Abolition Act passed in 1833, it was quickly followed by the 1837 Slavery Compensation Act. A government grant of £20 million was assigned to compensate British slave owners for the inconvenience of losing their human property. The British taxpayer finally paid this debt in 2015. A 2016 YouGov poll found that 59% of British people believed the empire was something to be proud of. In 2002, now Prime Minister Boris Johnson published an article stating that the best fate for Africa would be if the old colonial powers, or their citizens, scrambled once again in her direction. Seemingly, people agree with him. Number 8. I've never thought of you as black. I don't see colour. If you cannot or refuse to see colour, you cannot see race-based oppression either. It also suggests that if a black individual has assimilated to the dominant culture well enough, in your eyes, that's something to praise. Number 9. My aunt, cousin, grandfather is a bit racist, but they're harmless. It is correct that they are harmless. To you. Unfortunately, their anti-blackness will not exist in a vacuum. If they leave the house to shop, if they work with colleagues, if they socialise in a pub, if they are an employer, their racism has and will continue to silence and harm minorities. Number 10. There are plenty of black Brits who are racist against white people. It is true that anyone can hold hurtful and untrue prejudices, but racism can only exist if the victim holds less social power than the perpetrator. White British people, as a collective, hold institutional power that can enable the discrimination of black British people in a way that black people do not. Number 11. Mixing up black co-workers. When this occurs, the message you're sending to those black co-workers is, you're all the same to me. I will make no effort to remember your name or your face. It suggests that you see black people as a monolith. The phrase, I went to Africa last summer, is born out of this worldview. It suggests that you think all African countries are the same. Number 12. Mixed race babies are so cute. I have to have kids with a black person. When people fetishize black people and mixed children, the language used is akin to when people talk about pets. No one talks about their dream dog's personality or interests or culture, just their aesthetic. Number 13. It's just wrong to protest during a pandemic. The recent UK government report on disparities in COVID-19 death rates show that black males are 4.2 times more likely than white Britons to die from a COVID-19 related death. By June 11th, 2020, 100 of the 166 verified deaths of British frontline healthcare workers during the COVID-19 crisis have been from BAME backgrounds. Despite these facts, there have been no protective measures implemented to shield those from minority communities at a higher risk. The health concerns of minorities in the UK are already exponentially higher than their white counterparts. They are putting their lives on the line to protest with the aim that others value their own children's lives. They're not just enjoying the sun at the beach. And their protests are working. You're watching this video right now. Number 14. Touching a black person's hair without asking them. Many black people share the experience of colleagues, and oftentimes strangers, touching their hair or body without permission. The act of invading someone's personal space this way violates a person's autonomy. It's a testament to the way society devalues black bodies in of themselves. The media sharing images of the final dying moments of black individuals show how the society is numb to the idea of black bodies suffering. When white individuals face gruesome deaths, graphic imagery such as this is often censored. Number 15. No need to get so aggressive about it. Similarly to how white women are often called bossy, black women are often referred to as aggressive when being assertive. This is called tone policing, the act of criticising a person for expressing an emotion. Phrases such as these create an environment which silences black women. For more information about this stereotype, research the angry black woman trope. Number 16. Affecting a blaccent. The choice to affect an impression of African American vernacular or accent is a decision based on the theory that black people exist to entertain you. Their mere pattern of speech is laughable. It could be argued that this phenomenon is a remnant of minstrel shows, where white actors would paint blackface and perform offensive stereotypes for light entertainment. Right until 1978, the BBC's black and white minstrel show was a much-loved variety show on our TV screens. Number 17. You're not like most black people. You're one of the good ones. This exceptionalist mindset suggests that an admirable black individual is not representative of their race, whilst every unadmirable example represents the entire race. You don't see black people as individuals. Number 18. Your name's pretty hard to pronounce. Can I just call you... If somebody says this upon hearing a difficult name, they assume that making someone sound non-ethnic makes them more palatable. Ironically, in the Western world, we've got no problem saying names such as Aristotle, Michelangelo, or Timothy Chalamet. Number 19. You feel apprehensive to strike up conversation or socially include black colleagues. This hesitation and reluctance translates as, prove yourself to us because you're the outsider. Number 20. All lives matter. This phrase was only coined in response to the phrase Black Lives Matter, making clear that the intention was to refute the need for the BLM movement. If migraine sufferers are campaigning for better treatment, is it normal to react with the sentiment, all pain matters? Anti-blackness really is everywhere. So how can we fight against anti-blackness? Where do we start? As awkward as it can be, we need to strike up race-related conversations with family members and friends. Using the BLM movement can be a great starting point. Teaching our children to be non-racist isn't any good. We must teach them to be anti-racist. Point out harmful racial stereotypes in the media. Show them how school curriculums can often leave out shameful parts of our history. We must believe black people's experiences. We must put our money where our mouth is and seek out and purchase books written by black academics, films and documentaries made by black filmmakers. We will truly reflect on what we learn and take action by implementing these lessons in our lives every day. All of the work and research has already been done by the best and the brightest. We just have to seek it out. We must understand that anti-blackness is a non-black person's problem. Thanks for watching. All references used for this video are in the description below. Follow us on social media and learn more about the #IAmRacistBut movement. The links are in the description.